Across the world, mysterious signs are unfolding, and humanity stands on the edge of something it cannot fully explain. In every continent, strange phenomena are shaking those who still dare to believe that everything happening is just coincidence. From the roaring storms and trembling lands to the skies glowing in colors never seen before, the world seems to be whispering that time itself is reaching its final breath. The earth trembles more violently than ever before. Volcanoes that slept for centuries awaken, as if called by a voice from the deep. The oceans roar, cities flood overnight, and the seasons twist into confusion. People look up at the heavens and see strange lights, flashes, and sounds that science struggles to explain. Across the deserts of Israel, the mountains of Asia, and the coasts of America, the same feeling spreads. Something ancient is returning. Something foretold is now unfolding before our eyes. The rise of technology has promised salvation, yet it carries a shadow that grows darker by the day. Machines now think, speak, and decide faster than human minds. Intelligence no longer feels like a gift, but a warning. Humanity has created systems that can predict, control, and manipulate the very fabric of society. And yet, in the silence of this progress, the soul of man seems to vanish. People worship what their hands have made. Digital idols rise, and the truth becomes lost in a web of illusion. What once was prophecy has become daily reality, a world where good and evil blur, and the voice of conscience fades. Wars are no longer distant. They echo through every screen, every mind, every heart. The nations rage, leaders threaten, and the world trembles beneath the weight of pride. From the Middle East to the heart of Europe, alliances shift like shadows, and ancient hatreds resurface with new power. The very lands spoken of in the ancient prophecies, Israel, Jerusalem, Persia, and the nations surrounding them, are once again at the center of it all. And those who remember the words written thousands of years ago can no longer deny it. The world is moving toward a day of reckoning. In the skies above, scientists detect frequency, sounds, and signals that defy reason. Trumpet-like blasts have been recorded, echoing across the heavens. Some say they are atmospheric events. Others believe they are a call from beyond. People report seeing shapes of fire, clouds forming symbols that resemble eyes, wings, and crowns. The heavens themselves seem to be announcing something that humanity has forgotten, that creation still obeys its creator. The hearts of many grow cold. Love fades, violence multiplies, and faith is mocked. Morality is rewritten, truth is traded for comfort, and sin is no longer hidden, but celebrated. People no longer fear what is sacred. Instead, they chase sensations, power, and fame. The world calls darkness light and light darkness. And yet, in the midst of this moral collapse, a silent awakening begins. Men and women, from every nation, start to feel an unexplainable pull in their hearts, a call to return, to remember, to repent. Something divine is stirring beneath the chaos. Dreams and visions are being reported everywhere. People who never believed begin to see images of fire, of judgment, and of light breaking through the clouds. In hospitals, deserts, and cities, individuals claim to have seen the same thing, a figure of light standing above the earth, calling for repentance and warning of the days to come. Could this be coincidence, or is heaven trying to speak to a world that no longer listens? Technology, for all its brilliance, now watches every step, every thought, every purchase. The system that connects humanity has become a net that traps it. Facial recognition, digital currencies, implanted chips, all of it moves closer to what ancient prophecies described as the mark that would control who may buy or sell. The prophecy once considered myth is now coded into the software of the new age. What was once written in sacred texts now runs silently through the veins of our modern world. In the skies above Jerusalem, strange lights appear again and again. Witnesses describe them as spheres of fire that hover and vanish. The same city that once witnessed the crucifixion, the resurrection, and countless prophecies fulfilled, now becomes the stage for yet another sign. Some dismiss it as coincidence. Others feel it in their bones, the sense that something monumental is drawing near. The city of peace is again at the center of a world at war, both physically and spiritually. As disasters multiply and nations fall into confusion, people begin to question everything. Is humanity facing the end, or simply the transformation of what it has become. Philosophers, scientists, and spiritual leaders all speak of a coming convergence, a point in time when everything will be revealed. Yet those who study the scriptures know this is not the end of everything, but the beginning of something eternal. The prophecies spoke of a great deception that would come before the end, a false peace, a man of influence who would promise unity but bring control. Many now look to politics, religion, and technology, wondering if this figure is already among us, quietly shaping the world toward submission. The signs match too closely to ignore: global unrest, economic collapse, spiritual confusion, and a cry for someone to bring order. And in this moment, as the world races toward uncertainty, the signs grow louder. The earth groans, the sky speaks, and the spirit of man trembles. Every earthquake, every war, every revelation in science or space seems to push us closer to the inevitable. Yet even now, there is hope. The same prophecies that warned of darkness also promised redemption, that in the final moments, light would pierce through the chaos. Perhaps these events are not meant to destroy, but to awaken. Perhaps every strange light, every mysterious sound, every technological marvel and natural disaster is part of a divine plan to shake humanity from its sleep. The question is no longer whether the signs are real. The question is whether we are ready to face what comes after. And as the final chapters of this story unfold, every person must choose where they stand. The world offers distraction, but the truth demands attention. History repeats, prophecies converge, and the clock of eternity ticks louder with each passing day. The signs are not hiding anymore. They are crying out for us to see. So maybe the end is not approaching. Maybe it has already begun. The question is, do we recognize it? Do we feel the trembling in the spirit, the calling in our hearts? Every storm, every flame, every sound in the heavens seems to whisper the same message, that time is short and something greater is coming. Now, if you've made it this far, you probably feel that same unease, that same spark of curiosity deep within. What if all these signs are connected? What if the ancient prophecies are unfolding right now before our eyes? Share what you think in the comments. Write, "I see the signs," if you believe the world is changing, or "Still waiting," if you think there's more to come. Your words matter more than you think, because they become part of the conversation humanity has been avoiding for centuries, the conversation about the end and the beginning. And yet, as the world stares into the chaos, something even more disturbing begins to take shape, a pattern hidden beneath every disaster, every advancement, every echo of prophecy. It's as if an invisible thread connects everything happening, weaving a story too complex to be accidental. The strange weather, the rapid evolution of artificial intelligence, the moral decay, the division of nations, the growing hunger for control, all of it moves like gears in a vast machine, pushing humanity toward a single moment in time. Across cities and wilderness alike, people begin to sense it, an invisible pressure in the air, a spiritual tension that no technology can measure. Scientists call it coincidence, but prophets called it alignment. The old texts spoke of a time when the natural and supernatural would collide, when the barriers between heaven and earth would thin, and signs would manifest both in the physical world and deep within the human soul. That time no longer feels like a distant prophecy. It feels like now. There are whispers of sounds coming from beneath the ground, of frequencies resonating in places untouched by human hands. Instruments detect vibrations that have no logical source, patterns repeating in the ocean currents, and the shifting of the magnetic poles. Some claim it's the Earth responding to centuries of imbalance, but others believe it's a voice, a call echoing from creation itself, warning that the order of things is about to change forever. At the same time, human knowledge expands faster than any generation before. Artificial intelligence now writes, paints, speaks, and even dreams. Machines analyze human emotion and predict behavior with chilling accuracy. But in this digital evolution, there's an eerie silence, a question that no one can answer. What happens when technology begins to search for meaning? When algorithms start interpreting ancient texts or decoding spiritual symbols? Could the digital realm become a mirror for something spiritual or something darker? In temples, mosques, synagogues, and churches around the world, the same message is beginning to surface. Wake up. Leaders who once stood divided now sense a shared urgency. Visions, dreams, and prophetic words align across cultures that never spoke to one another. It's as though a single message is echoing through the hearts of millions. Prepare, and those who ignore it feel a growing unease they cannot explain. Meanwhile, the heavens continue to send their messages. Celestial alignments occur with impossible precision. Stars that were once constant suddenly dim, and comets pass in patterns that mirror ancient predictions. Solar storms intensify, disrupting communications, while the northern lights descend to latitudes where they were never seen before. Nature, technology, and prophecy are all speaking at once, but humanity is too distracted to listen. And then, there are the encounters, moments, ordinary people cannot explain. Reports of figures appearing in light, voices calling from nowhere, time seeming to stand still. Videos circulate online of clouds forming into perfect symbol, lightning splitting in the shape of a cross, or the earth shaking just as someone utters a prayer. Skeptics say it's all coincidence. Believers feel chills in their bones, sensing that something beyond human comprehension is at work. In every generation, there have been warnings, but never before has the world been so connected, so capable of witnessing everything as it unfolds in real time. The book, once sealed, is now open, its pages playing out across news feeds and digital screens. Humanity watches but refuses to see. Perhaps that blindness is part of the prophecy too, that the final sign would not be destruction, but indifference. And maybe that's the most terrifying truth of all, that people no longer fear the end, because they no longer believe in anything beyond themselves. The storms rage, the lights flash, the nations crumble, and still the world scrolls, laughs, and forgets. The signs are not just in the sky, they are in the hearts that have grown cold. But deep down, a whisper persists, a sense that everything is building toward revelation. The tension between light and darkness grows sharper, as though history itself is holding its breath. Every empire that rises now feels temporary. Every system built on pride begins to crack. And in the silence between disasters, a question burns quietly in the human spirit. What if this is not just the end of time, but the unveiling of truth? Perhaps the real mystery isn't what's happening around us, but what's awakening within us. Maybe every strange sound in the sky, every unexpected storm, every moral collapse, and every burst of technological wonder is part of a greater design meant to make us look up, not in fear, but in recognition. The signs may not be warnings of doom, but invitations to remember who created time itself. Still, as each day passes, the line between faith and fear grows thinner. The choice becomes clearer: to see these events as chaos, or to see them as a call. Those who feel the call can no longer ignore it. The unease in their spirit, the feeling that the world is standing on the edge of something vast and final, only grows stronger. And perhaps that's the reason you're hearing these words right now, because somewhere inside, you already sense that everything happening isn't random, that the earth's shaking, the digital awakening, the silence in the skies, all of it points to a truth humanity has forgotten. If your heart feels it too, let it speak. Write what you see, what you sense, what you believe is coming. Type "I'm awake" if you feel the world shifting, or "still searching" if you're not sure yet. But whatever you do, don't stay silent, because silence, in times like these, might be the loudest sign of all.